What's goody, family? Welcome back to the lab. We did episode 1, and the energy was electric. I hit that red button. I spoke my truth. And for a few hours, I felt like I finally cracked the code. I felt invisible. But I gotta be honest with the crew. I woke up this morning, and the king I was last night didn't live here anymore. I looked at the work piling up. I looked at the gray skies. And my brain, that 95% loop we talked about last week, tried to reclaim its territory. It whispered, juice. That was a fluke. You're just a guy in the room. Go back to sleep. That is the hype of the hangover. Most people spend their entire life chasing the high of a new start, but they flee the second the room gets quiet. Motivation is a guest that leaves the second the party gets boring. But in the lab, we don't build on highs. We build on the bedrock of the boring. If you only move when you feel inspired, you aren't a leader. You're a fan of your own potential. Real growth doesn't happen when the camera is on and the brothers is cheering. It happens in the dark, the cold, when you have every reason to quit and you choose to stay anyways. So today, we're auditing the man you are when the applause stops. We're looking at who you are when the only person watching is you. Now that we audit the room, we have to talk about the work. Everyone comes into the lab asking for a brand new life, but they're still trying to fit the new version into their old skin. It won't fit. You can't build the kingdom on top of a graveyard. You're waiting for a lightning bolt to strike and change everything. But your life is actually being won or lost in the 5% of your day where you actually have a choice. Now, most of your days is programmed. You brush your teeth, you drive the same route, you even think the same thoughts. That's the loop. But there's a tiny window, that 5% window, where you decide, do I take the easy route or the right route? But here in the lab, we call that the 5% surgery. It's the process of cutting away the parts of you that you are keeping in the loop. It's not just about adding good habits. It's about subtracting the lies. Maybe it's the lies that you need to be motivated to work. Maybe it's the lies that you need everyone's approval to lead. But you have to be willing to let that version of yourself die so the king in you can live. Now, surgery is painful. It is messy. And it does leave scars. But those scars are your credentials. They prove you are willing to bleed for that person you're becoming. If you ain't willing to cut away the comfort, you will never reach the crown. I hear it every single day. People reach out and they say, Juice, I'm in a dark place. I'm doing the work. I've been staying relentless, but nothing is moving. I feel stuck. I need you to reframe your reality right now. Because in the lab, we don't get stuck. We get planted. There is a massive difference between being buried in the grave and being buried in the womb. When the seed is in the dirt, it's dark, it's cold, and it's under the weight of everything above it. If that seed had a mind, it would think it's dying. But that darkness isn't its end. It's its training ground. It's the only place where it can grow its roots necessary to hold the weight of the trees that it's destined to become. The pressure you feel right now, the weight of the responsibilities, the silence of the people who used to cheer you on, the isolation of the grind, that isn't punishment. That's the universe forcing you to grow roots of resilience so deep that when your global season finally hits, no storm on earth can move you. A tree that grows in a greenhouse, where the water is easy and the sun is always out, will fall over in the first real wind because the roots are shallow. You're being anchored. Every day you show up in the dirt, you're becoming unbreakable. Don't curse the darkness. Thank the darkness for the strength it's forcing you to find. You aren't being hidden, you being prepared. Now we've covered the grind, we've honored the roots, but now we have to talk about the permission. Most of you are still waiting. You're waiting for a sign in the sky, a green flag from a stranger, or permission slips from the world that wants you quiet. You're waiting for someone to come along and knight you, to tell you that you're finally ready. But listen to me. You are the permission. Stop looking for a leader in the mirror of other people's opinions. A king doesn't ask for the throne. He builds one with raw material of his own life. Being a positive brother means you carry your own atmosphere. If the world is cold, you bring the heat. If the room is dark, you are the light. You don't need an audience to be a leader, and you don't need a filter to be powerful. You just need the courage to look at your reflection and say, I am the architect of this moment. I am the captain of this soul. The loop ends the second you decide your vision is more realer than your fears. You are moving from thinking to being. We are taking the juice global. But the engine starts now. It starts here, in the quiet of your own heart. So before I go, I'm leaving you with one final task. I want you to head to the comments, and I want you to be honest. No fire emojis, no great video lines. I want straight truth. My question for the Juice Crew today is, if you knew with 100% certainty that you could not fail, what is the first massive king move you will make tomorrow morning to start building your empire? Write it down. Own it. And then tomorrow morning, do it. I'm Juice, and I'm still under construction. I'm still growing. But I'm here. Join the movement. Push that subscribe button. Like, share, and comment. I'll see you there. Peace.